the classes. So now we can construct a column called fx because we have the f column and we have the x column. So fx is simply the product of the f values times the x values. So fx in this particular instance is simply going to be the product of our f values times our x's. So I'll just grab a calculator here. So the first fx value is going to be 4 times 11.5, which gives us a value of 46. The next fx value is going to be 10 times 24.5, which gives us a value of 245. The next one is going to be 12 times 37.5, which gives us a value of 450. The next value is going to be 14 times 50.5, so it's 14 times 50.5, gives us a value of 707. The next value in the fx column is going to be 9 times 63.5, so it's 9 times 63.5 is going to be 571.5. And the final value in the fx column is going to be 3 times 76.5. 3 times 76.5 gives us a value of 229.5. Okay. So to calculate the mean, we need the sum of the fx column. So we need to sum all these values together to give us the sum of the fx column. So that's going to be 46 plus 245 plus 450 plus 707 plus 571.5 plus 229.5. Okay, which gives us a value of 2,249. Okay. Now this value here is the sum of the fx column, so this value here is the sum of the fx's. Okay. So now we nearly have our mean value. To calculate the mean of our distribution, of our group frequency distribution, we simply divide the sum of the fx values by sigma f. So we have x bar, which is our sample mean, is simply the sum of the fx column divided by the sum of the f's. That's 2,249. That's the sum of the fx's divided by 52. Let's do that on our calculator. So we have 2,249 divided by 52 gives us a value of 43.25. Okay. So the average number of Facebook friends that the 52 respondents to this particular survey had was, on average, they had 43.25 Facebook friends. Okay, well, that's the process to calculate the sample mean from a group frequency distribution. Let's just keep in mind, when you have a group frequency distribution, you have classes. Okay. To calculate the sample mean, we need the sum of the frequency column. We have a frequency column which is given or has been constructed. The sum of the frequencies was 52. But to calculate the numerator in the sample mean, we need a frequency column and an x column. We have our frequency column. The x column is going to represent some candidate observation from within our intervals. And to calculate the candidate observation, we simply calculate the midpoint of our class. The midpoint is simply the lower bound plus the upper bound divided by 2. And every time we do this particular calculation, we end up with a value that's within the class or within the interval, 11.5, 24.5, and so on. Now that we have the f and the x column, we can calculate an fx column, which is the f values multiplied by the x values. So the first value here is 4 times 11.5 gives us 46. The value here is 14 times 50.5 gives us 707. And we do that for all of the pairs of values down through our classes. And the mean is simply the sum of the fx column, 2,249. That's what we get when we sum these values in the fx column, divided by the sum of the f's. The sum of the f's is 52. So the sample mean is simply equal to the sum of the fx's divided by the sum of the f's, which is equal to 2,249 divided by 52, which gives us an average number, or an average for this particular distribution, of 43.25. Okay guys, I hope that was helpful. This was Jonathan Lambert with the Mathematics Development and Support Service at the National College of Ireland.